Welcome to the My Reflections overview and introduction. Today I'll be running you through a little bit about me, why I started My Reflections, and take you through the system. So to start with, a little bit about myself. I'm Chris, I'm the creator and founder of My Reflections, and I've worked in the software industry for more than 15 years. I've primarily worked in leadership, product, project management and operational roles, and have been fortunate enough to work all over the world. Currently, I live in the Philippines, but I'm originally from Adelaide in South Australia. So let's start with a definition of reflection. So my definition of reflection is the deliberate act of considering decisions, actions, and outcomes with the intent of learning from them for personal, professional, team or organizational development, improvement, and growth. Reflection has helped me to achieve many of the personal and professional goals I've set myself and the organizations that I've engaged with over the years. Reflection forms an integral part of my everyday life. I commit time to reflect on a daily basis on key areas of my day, my decisions, their outcomes, and ultimately the resulting successes or losses. And most importantly, I genuinely believe that reflection can help anybody who applies themselves to it. There's two core principles behind my own personal reflection methodologies. The first is what's known as the action, observation, reflection model, or sometimes called the spiral of experience. And this suggests that as we take action, we observe their outcomes and we reflect on the results, we gain experience. That means that subsequent decisions in similar situations get better and better and better. The second core principle is more of a statement. The closer to the action and its results you conduct your reflection, the more you will get out of it. This is a very simple statement, but it's profound when put into action. This suggests that the best time to reflect on your decisions and their outcome is as close to them as possible. So my own reflection goals and workflow, and this starts to talk to why I started my reflections in the first place. I wanted to be able to reflect at the lowest possible level, that is, an activity that had decisions, actions, and results. I wanted to first capture highlights and lowlights and rate the activity results quickly without much initial consideration. Meaning I wanted almost a placeholder for each of my activities and their results. I wanted to be able to associate activities with key aspects of my life, such as projects, goals, customers. These reflections I now refer to as micro-reflections. These are snapshots, placeholders for later consideration and deeper reflection. The final point was that I wanted to conduct a weekly deep dive or retrospective where I evaluate the week's micro-reflections, view their trends and comparisons to previous weeks. And this was how My Reflections was born. Our innovative approach integrates several components or modules to create a complete reflection framework. Reflect Now allows us to capture timely, consistent reflections, or micro-reflections, as I called them previously. As part of the reflection, we identify an activity type, we give it a rating, and we identify highlights and lowlights. Activity types allow you to categorize activities logically and will give insights into overall areas of possible improvement. Additionally, you can create custom tags for more granular insights, and I'll give you an example later on how I've set up my own tags. Weekly reflections is that weekly deep dive or retrospective that I referred to before. We can review our week's activities. We see statistics and trends while answering a set of consistent questions and identifying weekly highlights and lowlights as well as, and most importantly, adjustments for the upcoming week. My Reflections allows you to create groups and invite friends, colleagues, or families to join you on your reflection journey. You can share insights, motivational quotes and images, run quizzes, and encourage each other with comments and reactions. We've started integrating artificial intelligence into our platform. We started with a sentiment analysis that's used throughout the reflection process to provide insights to your tone, subjectivity, and whether your reflection contains positive or negative language. This provides additional context while you're doing your deep dive and weekly reflections as well. My Reflections now has reflection automation. This will allow the creation of automatic reflections, whether it be completing a task, finishing an appointment, making a sale, completing your workout. It's completely open to your imagination and the services that you use in your day-to-day life. That's a brief introduction to My Reflections. I thought it would be good to take you through some of the key things within my own reflection setup that might inspire your own. Let's start with tags. To start with, I'll quickly explain the concept behind the tags. Tags allow you to categorize your reflections, irrespective of their activity types. You can create generic tags, or you can create tags specific to reflection types or activity types. In my case, I've created 4 key types of tags. Projects and businesses, which are my current engagements. Personal stuff, training types, and goals. To be clear, projects and businesses outline my key engagements and areas of reflection at a professional level. Personal stuff I've kept relatively simple. I have things for myself and things for my son. Training types are activities that I conduct regularly. I've chosen not to break down my goals into individual tags. Instead, I flag activities relevant to my top 3 priorities for the day. Next is automations. And to be clear, automations is a pro feature. The concept behind automation is that you automatically create your reflections based on your daily movements or activities. These are then used to trigger your reflection. In short, we're creating a placeholder for appointments, tasks, new sales, etc., that you will then go in and update later with a rating or your highlights and lowlights. You can provide all of that information through the webhook, but in most cases, you will provide a title and an activity type. So here I have 6 examples. I create a daily sleep reflection. That happens every morning at 7:30. This is simply a scheduled automation. I have a calendar automation that will create a reflection at the end of every appointment. I have 2 automations connected to my ClickUp environment where certain status changes will trigger a reflection. I've connected to GitHub to create a reflection at the end of every release. And lastly, I have a proof of concept integration with Google Sheets that I was exploring for use with a customer. So there's some pointers for you for your own setup. The next step is to get started. Simply visit myreflections.app, sign up using your email, Facebook, or Google. Consider how you would like to use tags using my own example as a starting point. And if you have signed up for a pro subscription, you can set up your automations to trigger your micro reflections. Go get it.